What's going on, guys? Jon Venus over here. Welcome back to another video. This is going to be a sit-down video where I'm discussing something that happened to me very recently, and I think this is a topic that a lot of people would never touch because of how sensitive the topic is, but I'm all about transparency and honesty, and you know, people make mistakes, people are not perfect, and that's one of the main topics and themes of the video is perfection, how we shouldn't really focus on it, and how to actually focus around the idea of veganism and a plant-based diet in a healthy way that is actually beneficial for ourselves, the people around us, the environment, the animals, and all that stuff. So the title is not clickbait. I did eat animals for a week, maybe a little bit longer, I'm not sure exactly. And I say I eat animals because what actually did happen was that I consumed dairy for a whole week, but I say I ate animals because in my view and in my opinion, dairy is exactly the same thing as meat. There is absolutely no difference ethically in the production of dairy. What actually happened was that I had been consuming protein bars that I was 100% sure were vegan. And I'm not gonna say the brand's name or anything, but most of the bars were vegan, but they had a couple of them that weren't, and that was, I didn't know that there were some protein bars that had whey protein in them. So I've been basically consuming 1 to 2 of these bars per day for a whole week, and getting, I guess it was like 20 grams of whey protein. The thing that I wanted to discuss is, does that make me not vegan anymore? Does that make me a bad vegan? Does that make me a failure? So people make mistakes. It's absolutely normal, and intent is everything. I think if you do something on purpose, it's completely different from making mistakes, obviously. But even if you make mistakes, you shouldn't, I don't personally feel bad about it because intent to me is the most important thing. I feel bad because, I was supporting the dairy industry and these products, but it was never my intention to consume that, so I don't feel like I'm breaking my ethical code or anything like that. And whether or not, like, some people say, okay, if you eat animal products and you make a mistake, you have to start at zero, so you have actually never been vegan because you made a mistake, now you got to start over. But to be honest, it's impossible not to make mistakes, at least if you're eating at restaurants. It's impossible not to make mistakes. Even people who actually believe they don't make any mistakes because they buy everything in their raw ingredient form are actually not 100% vegan. Like, there is no one that is 100% vegan on the planet, because we all have small amounts of animal parts in our everyday foods, like vegetables. Coffee actually is one of the highest source of insects in the world. There is no 100% anything, there is no perfection, and I think a lot of people are too obsessed with the perfection of things, and I don't think it's a healthy way to look at a diet or a lifestyle. To me, being vegan just means trying your best to minimize suffering and the consumption of animal products. So that is what the vegan diet means to me personally, and I'm not afraid to admit when I make mistakes. I make mistakes. This kind of stuff has happened before. Maybe not to the point where I've eaten that much, for a whole week, but I've definitely made a lot of mistakes just because of the frequency of which I eat out at restaurants. I'm just telling you guys that it's okay, it's fine. It's not the mistakes that count, it's the intention. And of course you can make the argument that I didn't check the labels. If I hear that something is vegan, I don't go and do the extra effort of spending an extra 10 minutes going through the web and searching for different products and finding out if the coloring is vegan or if it comes from some sort of insect. I don't go that far, and whether or not you do, that's completely up to you. But the whole thing is just a mindset of being perfect all the time, and beating yourself down or even giving up the plant-based diet just because you made a mistake is just not helpful, and it's also not helpful to criticize people that make mistakes and just shame them for not being perfect and calling them, you know, fake vegans, or telling people that they're not vegan anymore because of these mistakes. That's absolutely not helpful, and it just paints a bad picture for the whole movement in general. And I know you guys watching, 99.9% of you guys, I already know that you guys will be supporting me through this, and which you should, because, you know, mistakes are mistakes and we all make them. And if you can't admit that, that is your problem that you have to work on, because you're chasing perfectionism, and that never works, and that only leads to bad things. So how do I feel physically after having dairy, or that much concentrated dairy protein or whey protein in my diet for a whole week? I didn't really notice anything at all, apart from an excuse, the image here, but my farts were out of this world, horrible, really bad. And that is probably because, you know, obviously my body's not used to having dairy anymore, so that's, I guess that's the reason for it. But apart from that, physically, you know, I didn't notice a difference. I didn't all of a sudden make a ton of gains and build a lot of muscle in this week just because of dairy. Moving forward, I guess I just have to be a little bit more careful reading the labels, even though I've already checked, you know, their, you know, a certain company's products, just to be sure 100%. And but it's easy to forget, and it's easy to forget. It happens to everyone, and we just can't put ourselves down or feel demotivated or sad, or, you know, it's not going to help anyone for me to feel depressed that I contributed to some suffering of cows and that kind of stuff. It really doesn't help. So I'm okay with it. I embrace the mistakes and I learn from them, and that is how I recommend people look at mistakes, because without mistakes there is no personal growth. And just embrace it, learn from it. Doesn't mean that you can't make mistakes on purpose, that's completely different. But, you know, intent, like I said in the beginning of the video, I think is everything. And I'm the most vegan person out there. Like, I'm all about the ethical aspect of veganism, the environmental, the health benefits, but mostly I'm all for the ethical side of things. So, you know, just because I made a mistake doesn't mean that I'm not ethical vegan anymore. I stand behind everything just the same. My passion for the lifestyle has never been stronger, and it will never go away, because it is the most obvious lifestyle to go for. Eating a vegan diet is the way to go, and it is what humans will eventually evolve to. It might not happen in our lifetime, but you guys, just mark my words, it will happen eventually. There is no way around it. But anyways, I thought that I would share this mistake with you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed me sharing my thoughts. If you didn't and you're extremely offended, I'm sorry I offended you, but maybe ask yourself why you feel so offended, and ask yourself how you can, you know, improve your mindset around it and think a little bit more positive and not have such a cynical outlook on life. I think that's really helpful for your own happiness. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. Leave a comment, let me know what you think about these mistakes, and if you have made mistakes in the past. I'm sure you have. If you say you haven't, I know you're lying. Anyways, that's it. Subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a comment, and I'll see you very soon. Peace out.